I read two articles today on Substack, and they both were around the same theme about how today, in general, all people, but even more like they were written by slightly younger people, um, how we're so disconnected from ourselves, and we think we have to do, and produce and be busy all the time. And meanwhile, what's really happening, we're so disconnected from our bodies and from our emotions. I mean, they're all connected, emotion and body, but we're so disconnected that we don't know anything's wrong until it's really, really wrong. And I I see that. I've noticed that for a long time, and I'm also I'm having thoughts about even me, like just bringing it down, stop doing what I think I should do, and do only what actually really feels good. So that could be something to go off of. I know it's pretty broad.
And I said, welcome to our first episode, really. Live to tell. It's not planned. This is our first episode, and I'm so happy to be here with Theresa Packet. Yeah, and perhaps we can introduce ourselves just a little bit, not
That's
in
a
the
great
terms
idea.
of what we do for our profession, but I guess it's an interesting constellation here. Our podcast on YouTube, Live to Tell, it's just about telling stories. And Teresa started. We were about to talk about, hey, what could we speak about? But yeah, now it is on. So this is our first episode.
Yeah.
And yeah, Teresa, perhaps you can say where you are
Yes.
uh,
Yes. So
right now.
I'm right now on my back porch in Maine in the United States. And just before we hit the button, I was wondering if I should blur my background. And Christoph said, "No, don't blur it. It's pretty nice, and it even looks fake, but it's not. Like I'm literally live sort of amongst all the trees up here in Maine."
Yeah, I love it. I love the background. And yeah, I said, nope, 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 no, leave it like this. And we talked about like on one episode you have to walk out and just wink to see that it's real. So me, I'm in Dortmund in Germany. That's the crazy part. And it's close to Cologne, like in the west of Germany, who don't know who doesn't know where Dortmund is. So, and this is how it is about, and we started to just speak about what he mentioned today, like, hey, where are we disconnected? And yeah, I'd like to catch up a little bit on that. So first of all, I like to say, please excuse if there are some expressions I'm not familiar with because my English is okay, but I don't feel like I'm a native speaker. So Teresa will
Well,
help me.
it makes it so great because your English is amazing, but it's kind of it can be a source of like just fun and jokes and whatever because I'm myself learning Spanish, but in much earlier stages, and there's so many nuances to language. So I think that's a really fun thing that we have going on here. We have the geography, but also the language and the culture. And, there's a lot of fun commonalities, but also fun differences that I know will come to light as the podcast lives.
So I'm happy that T, I can say T, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so that T is learning Spanish because then she knows how it's like to not be perfect with a language. So that's the good part. But
Right.
by the way, yeah, I can say that Teresa's Spanish is very well.
Hmm.
Last week we met in Barcelona. It is always also awesome. I have to tell my wife and me we met Teresa in Barcelona because if someone is in Europe or the US, of course, we will meet. It's always like, okay, let's let's
It
meet.
was
Yeah.
so awesome. So much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun. Yes. And so they got to see me tripping over my Spanish with the servers and all of that, but it was really fun. It's amazing. And it's the thing is when somebody is speaking your language and they're really trying and you know they're really trying, even if they're screwing it up, it's like you just feel so good and it's such an opportunity to connect and maybe help them or whatever, but it was so much fun. Yes.
Yeah, I realized that too. If you are in a foreign country, I mean, with English, to be honest, it's not that amazing that someone says like, "Oh my God, you speak English." But in other countries, really, it's like this. In Italy, if you
Hmm.
just say like hello and goodbye, something like this in Italian, they are like, oh, they are super open. And yeah, I love that as well. I
Yeah.
mean, for me, it's the same. If someone, a foreigner, is here in Germany and speaks some German, it's always like, yeah, it's a completely icebreaker, I think.
Yeah, it's really nice. Um I think it's because Americans just expect everyone to speak English because most Americans don't speak another language and whatever.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh
All
yeah.
right.
Yeah. I mean, I I I have lived in the US for most of my life. I lived in Canada for a couple of years. Um, and I do love the US, but there are some stereotypes that are, have some truth. And I'm not just like 100%, I love the US. I'm like, I really consider myself more of like a citizen of the world. And I see some things about the US and some Americans that I don't like. And the fact that they just expect everybody to speak English and they get mad even when people are speaking Spanish in the US,
All right.
it's a
Okay.
thing. Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand it because why should I learn some other language? Because everybody everybody is speaking Spanish, except I mean, yeah, I don't know how it is in China. I never been to China. I guess there are some languages or some countries where English is very rare,
Right. That's true.
but yeah, most of the time, I guess with English you are fine. I have no idea. I guess if you just count the citizens, I have no idea if English is the most spoken language. I'm not sure, or is it Chinese? Because there are so many Chinese.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
I
I
guess
don't
it's the second or yeah.
I don't know the answer to that. I do remember that a while ago, a number of years ago, I heard that Spanish was the second most spoken language.
All right.
Um, so I don't know, maybe it's after Chinese
Yeah.
and also there's Cantonese and Mandarin. So I know uh, I believe it would be after Mandarin,
Yeah.
but I don't know. That might be something I want to look up. But it's I think it's always a good idea for a human to have a second language because it's just another way to like that your brain can work and it just it opens you up to other ways of thinking and saying the same thing. And that's my experience, certainly with learning Spanish for sure.
Or I need to go back to where you said Spanish is the second language that is spoken.
Yes.
Yeah. Perhaps it was just marketing, to make you like feel good about learning Spanish or
Right.
whatever. No, no, no. I know that
Right.
Spanish is very, very in the top three, at least.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of countries. But the funny thing is, when in high school here, you have to take a foreign language. You at least in the public school system, you need it depends maybe what state, I don't know, but 2 or 3 years of a foreign language, something besides English. And I remember my mom was always trying to push Spanish because it's so useful and she knew it even, all those years ago. And I just was like, no, no. So I took French instead in high school.
Me
Um,
too.
and do you speak any French now?
I do.
You do. See,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't really. I can
Yeah.
tell when somebody's speaking French.
There, how it starts. That's the point where it starts. So,
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly. But yeah, no, I can't speak any. But um yeah, I guess my point is I came around to it, but years later on my own terms, and it's it's fantastic. I think, different strokes for different folks, but I think a second language is great. It's
yeah.
a good idea.
I was laughing because it is such a thing when you have so much resistance against something that it somehow finally will come into your life and you're saying like, no Spanish, no Spanish. And I can tell that uh, T is crazy now about Spanish. So, and this is very, very funny. And yeah, we always like Teresa and me, we are really into personal development and spiritual things. And yeah, and that's one thing for sure. If you have resistance against something, it will totally show up in your life for sure. That's
Yeah. It's so weird like that, right?
yeah. And if you say like no, 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 no Spanish, no, 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 no.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can oh, there's so much in my head now because you just said like 6 sentences and I was like, oh my God, this story is I made some notes already
Good, good.
that I don't forget it. Like learning a language, I will tell you some, how do you say that? Life hacks? Is it like
Oh
this? You say
yeah,
that?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
About learning a new language. But first, I wanted to speak about like when you have resistance against something, and it's not a funny story, but it shows how it could be. I had a client, a father, like he was around 60 years, and he had trouble with his 2 daughters. They
Mhm.
were really grown-ups, like in the middle of the 30s. And he said like he was how do you say that when someone is hit by his parents, like really
Oh, yeah, like spanked.
spanked, but in a bad way, like really every day with a belt
Ooh.
and really bad.
Oh, that's worse than spanked. Yeah, like
Yeah,
physically abused, really.
yeah, abused, like really, really hard. And I said, like, yeah, have you talked about that in the 60 years to someone? He said, no, I just made a decision never being a father like that, like violence is out of my life. And I was like, okay. And I know and I knew that if you try to avoid it, it is still in your, yeah, in your field
In
and
your
it's still
field.
in your life.
It's
And
coming for you. If you're
yeah,
pushing that hard, it's coming for you, right?
exactly. And I asked him like, okay, what father have you been? And he said like, yeah, as I said, like I never punished my daughters. I never hit my daughters or, and I asked like, okay, and what did you do when they do something that triggered you? Because every child does, I guess.
Right.
I'm pretty sure about this because I experienced this on my own. So a lot.
Mhm.
So and I'm asking, what did you do? And he said, like, yeah, I ignored them because I felt like anger is coming up, and I ignored them. And haven't spoke to them, so I ignored them. And I asked, like, okay, about like, how do you say that? Psychological violence,
Right,
because
right.
ignoring someone is super hard. And and then we realized, or I realized, and he too, that this was the kind of violation and
Abuse.
abusement. That was the way that it showed up. So he couldn't avoid it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not possible. It's
It
showing
just
up
showed up in a
somewhere. You're
different
putting
way.
it down there and it's coming up there. So, and he was crying because he was like, oh my goodness, is like the same or even worse,
Right.
you know, as yeah, hitting someone physically. So this is about like if you are against something or you try to resist
Pushing it
something,
away.
yeah, pushing it away, not possible. You have to go through it. You have to yeah to overcome it and get a process through it.
Yeah. It's almost like you have to, I don't know, like to let go, right? To let go is to like move through whatever the process is, like you said, and then finally be in a different place with it, in a different relationship with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's difficult sometimes.
yeah. So this is not a fun story, but I just wanted to make the point that avoiding something or being resistant against something it shows up again. And as you did, like, no, Spanish, no, 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 100 times no. And then we can say for sure, yeah, somehow Spanish is coming to your life. Could be a Spanish man, could be whatever, running a taco a restaurant or whatever.
Right. Exactly. In some way, it was going to show up. Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, it was really back in high school, it was more about being able, having something that I could say no to my mother about,
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah,
because, when you're still living at home, sometimes it's hard to do.
yeah,
Um, so I was really happy that I had something I could say no about. And it turned out to be better for me anyway. I took it in college instead. Um, but yeah, on my own terms, right? And it turns out, like Christoph said, like I am now kind of in love with the Spanish language and this whole process that I'm going through. And it's just like opening doors all over the place of, people that I can talk to, places that I can think about visiting or even go and visit, like Barcelona. It's really kind of a magical thing.
yeah. And I guess it's a completely difference when you decide on your own to do something, right? I, for example, I was always super bad in math. And then after like, well, I don't know, I guess it's high school. The
Right.
German system is a little bit different, but I guess it was high school. And after that, I was about to study and I studied engineering. And then I was great in that. I was like super good. I know you haven't know. And I didn't finish. I have finished this study. Um, yeah, but math was no problem, because it was my decision to study engineering. Yeah.
Wow.
Your face is like, what the hell?
Wow. That's amazing. Well, I mean, math is very different in high school than if you're going to study engineering and there's all the calculus
Yeah.
and the physics and all the things. And for most people, that's a lot harder to do that instead
Yeah.
of that's amazing.
Yeah, but for me, it was like I found my freedom with math because it was like I choose it, so I love to do it. And by the way, it's either your your own decision or you have a great teacher, right? If you love your teacher, every how do you call that subject? No,
Yeah.
Okay, every subject is fine. It's you love every subject is if the teacher is great, right?
Yes, yes. The teacher can really make or break it. And it's kind of funny. That's what happened actually with my dad in Spanish. He took Spanish, I don't know how many years. It wasn't four. I think it was only 2 years in high school. He had an amazing teacher. I guess also had a talent, but he had an amazing teacher. And he passed last year, as you know, but like for the last few years when I've been studying Spanish, we would have broken Spanish conversations and talk a little on the phone in Spanish and write each other notes in Spanish. And it was like, oh my, here I am. I had 2 semesters in college and I'm actually studying it now for 3 years, but then for two. And he can completely follow me. And he was even teaching me things. Like his teacher really was able to get, I don't know, set a foundation for him and he really latched on. So I really think the power of a good teacher um, is is really, really strong.
It is. It is. And by the way, I have to say that I was thinking of saying it or not. I have to say it. We went to like, I guess it was like three different places where we went to Barcelona, like a restaurant and a tapas bar and something like this. And everywhere T ordered or had a conversation with someone, they made a compliment on her pronunciation and her way of speaking Spanish. And yeah, and I mean, it was not, yeah, something like, where of Spain, where of what area in Spain do you come from? Okay, it was not
No, no,
like
it
this,
wasn't
but
like that.
close
No,
to.
no.
They made compliments. So I have to say this. And I'm pretty sure in the next episode we will hear some Spanish. Perhaps the introduction or something like this.
Yeah, there we go. That would be great.
Yeah. And not only see.
No, exactly. Yeah, I'll work on a Spanish introduction. That'd be great.
It's a crazy part because this is what I wanted to say about Spanish. I was born when I was around, I guess it was in the beginnings of my 20s. I teach German for students like all over the world and students who want to come to Germany to study here. And I teach them through, I guess it was Skype. You know, Skype
Oh,
was
right,
the,
right. Yeah,
yeah,
that was the
there was
first
no
one.
Zoom.
Right.
Yeah.
No Zoom.
That was the thing. It was everything you did with camera was Skype.
Yep, I remember.
So and I teach, so I heard a lot of different languages, and everybody told me that I mean I'm not I don't know much languages good, but I think my pronunciation was good. That was always people say, and I don't know if they have said it for like, yeah, oh yeah, to just make a compliment. I believed it, except Spanish. Oh, I
Really?
feel so good with all the accents, like Italian, especially Italian, or even Chinese, which was okay. I could say, for example, what I mean is Christoph. So, which means like my name is Christoph. Even
Wow.
even Chinese, but Spanish, I never had a connection with. Never
That's so
ever. I
interesting.
love to learn it. I always wanted to learn it really bad, but there was no talent for Spanish.
That,
Italian, no problem. Even some Arabic. Uh, yeah,
that's amazing. I mean, I know I think Japanese, but Chinese and Japanese have to be some of the most difficult languages to learn. The intonation, like you can say
yeah,
the same sound 5 different ways. It means 5 different things,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. And you have
Chinese.
to be very careful. Like,
Right, right. You can really mess up and insult
yeah,
somebody or be coarse or, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That's
It's so close to make a compliment, close to I want to kill you. Something, and just by a pronunciation that is so similar.
Right, right. Or I want to do something X-rated to you.
Yeah,
No.
yeah,
Yes. Wow. Okay. Well, we can work on Spanish.
yeah. Because I love to speak Spanish. Even one of my favorite places is Mallorca. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, in Mallorca, how do you say on Mallorca when it's an island? An island? You say, how do you
No, you
say
can
that?
still say in, like in Hawaii, in Mallorca.
All
It's
right.
fine. Or
So
on the
even,
island, but yeah, in Mallorca.
okay. Um, so even you don't need to speak Spanish in Mallorca because there are so many Germans. And a comedian was funny, said like, this could be the first island that will change the country without a war. Like they just give it to the Germans because they, okay, it's just, you're so many here, just take it.
Just take it.
Just
That's so
we want
funny.
to get rid of it because it's not Spanish anymore. But it
Right.
is really like this. I lived in Mallorca for a couple times. Oh, how do you say it? For a time, for some time. And I mean, I'm able to say something in Spanish, but really rare, like really, really rare.
Mhm.
And I mean, I even couldn't tell a taxi driver where to go. I just
Right.
can order like some food, and that's it. And I have to concentrate a lot. And the pronunciation is bad, of course.
It's all good. It's
Yeah.
all
So, but yeah, that's why it's confusing for me that Spanish is such. Yeah,
Huh.
we will
It's
see.
sort of like all the I feel like all the language talent got split then because maybe I only got Spanish and you got everything else.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The rest except Spanish. By the way, that reminds me of a great joke. I don't know
Well, I just need to tell everyone that this is probably at least one time every episode. Christoph has great jokes and he remembers them and he could tell me the same joke every, I don't know, month and I would just laugh because I forget. So,
I can tell every month, and I do it. So the same joke over again. No, I don't know if you have, of course you have, right? Different accents in the
Spanish?
US. Like if
Oh,
you are for now, I mean, I'm speaking
oh,
about US.
dialects.
Like
Yes.
if you are in, I don't know, in
Yeah.
Florida, you have a different accent than in,
Yes. Yeah, the deep South versus New England versus, yes, for sure.
yeah, oh, right. So it's the same in Germany. And there's a joke. And do you know Carnival? The word Carnival?
Yes.
It's really famous in Cologne, where I'm from. I mean, I'm living in Dortmund, but I was born in Cologne. I lived there a long time, like over 40 years. And they are really into Carnival. And there are these speakers on Carnival, they're making fun of whatever. So, and one of them, one guy said, and yeah, the accent in the Rhineland, which is including Cologne, is very special. And he said, like, when God, how do you say that? Give every region an accent. How do you say that? The word like giving?
Yeah, gave. Yeah, when God
Okay,
gave all the accents. Yeah.
yeah. So when he gave away all the accent for the regions, he noticed like, oh my God, there is no more accent left for the Rhineland, for the people from Cologne. And he was trying to figure out like, what can I do? And they say, okay, then they will speak like me. It's fine. So this is like,
I love
it's
it.
fine.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh. So it's like the voice of God in
Yeah,
Cologne.
exactly. The
Uh,
accent, the voice of God. Yeah. And I mean, to be honest, in Cologne, they are really love themselves. So I can say that. So they are really like, yeah, we got it.
yeah,
So,
that's awesome. That's so
uh,
funny. I think every country has some like either city or place or I mean, there's I don't know. There's definitely people like that. I love it.
Yeah, like this.
Uh,
So I like to explain, and we have a teaching component here. I
yes.
love to explain how I learned languages with a special system from a very famous woman, a German woman. Her name was Vera Birkenbiel, she's called. And she said, like, she yeah, created a system which is still alive, even she passed like 20 years ago, but she created a system that is still alive and still used, and it's 4 steps. So I hope I can explain it in English.
And this is
So
for any language to
for
learn.
any language, for
Okay.
any
I got my
language.
pen and paper right here.
Yeah, everybody get out your pen and paper. So, and it's 4 steps. And the 4 steps is, and I'm trying to find a language so that everybody understands. Okay, let's see how it's working. So the first step is to translate. You take a sentence, just like, how are you?
Mm-hmm.
And then you make a word by word translation,
Mm-hmm.
even if it makes no sense in your language. So, for example, in some languages, yeah,
So you would take the sentences in the new language and you translate it into your own language?
exactly.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
super easy to buy any course, a book, and you just write down the original sentence,
Mm-hmm.
and then you translate word by word, just
Mm-hmm.
word by word, even if it sounds weird in your own language.
Right.
Like, for example, when you say, "How are you?" In Germany, it means if you translate the meaning of "How are you?" it "How goes it you?" This
Mm-hmm.
would be the translation from German to English, like "How goes it you?" Which makes no sense in English, right?
Right.
But you translate it like this, like "Wie geht es dir?" How goes it you? So
Okay.
make a word by word translation. And this is where you immediately get a sense of how the structure of the language is instead of always trying to translate it. So translate the sentence. This is what you normally do. You
Right.
you uh, you think about what you want to say, and then you translate it in your head, and then takes such a long time. But if you, from the beginning on, learn the structure, just by learning it, just by seeing it, just by getting familiar with it, it's better. So this is the first step, doing a word by word translation.
Yeah. Not
And
only
for,
that,
yeah,
if you do that and you translate in your head and then you say it in the new language from translating it into your native language, it sounds awful.
yeah,
Usually,
oh,
it sounds
yeah,
terrible because you're using
definitely.
your own structure. So this is helping you understand the new language's structure. Perfect.
Exactly. And for example, T, how did you learn English? Did someone told you when you was a little 3-year-old girl about grammar,
Definitely not.
about the structure? You just listened, right?
Hmm.
Or you learned vocabulary?
No.
Yeah, you just learn. Why? Because you get familiar just with by listening
Hmm.
and trying to speak. So first step, translating word by word.
Hmm.
So, and you only translate the words you don't know. For example, in English, I already know the word you. I don't translate it in my own language. I just leave it like this because I already know you means
Is this the
"Mm."
second step?
No, 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 no.
Oh,
It's just
okay.
an
But as you go along with that first step, you have to
yes,
translate less and less
yes, yes.
because you
Yeah.
know some words. Okay.
Yeah. Only the new vocabularies or the new words that are not familiar, you translate.
Okay.
So second step is you listen um, to a native speaker. Normally you have a course and there are like lessons,
Yes.
and you listen to um, the new language and reading, meanwhile, your translation, your own language translation. Okay, this is the second step. So listen to the original native
Speaker.
speaker and reading, meanwhile, the translation you made before.
Huh.
You
Okay.
got it?
Okay. Yep.
That's how the words are connected.
Okay.
Because, for example, I'll take an easy example, I hope. Du means you. Du is in German you.
Mhm.
And if I read in my language, in German, du, and listening to you, it's immediately a connection, you
Okay.
know,
Hmm.
with the structure of the new language. All
And
right.
you're only reading the words that you don't know,
No,
or
yeah,
you're
yeah, yeah,
reading
of
your,
course. Yeah, 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 sure.
yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So you're making that connection and you're knowing now that you means do or vice
Yes.
versa if you're learning German.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. Exactly. So first step, doing word by word translation. Second step is listening to the speaker, to the original speaker, and yeah, native speaker, and reading meanwhile the your translation, your own translation. So
Mhm.
the third step is um, this is the easiest, but this is the most important part. You should only do it with sentences you already know what they mean. Okay, the third step, and this is like putting your earphones, putting the volume super low that you barely can hear it, and do meanwhile other stuff. Like even if I'm speaking to you, I could have some earphones in my ears
Mhm.
that are speaking or repeating the languages I already know. This is how you get familiar, but it goes deep in your subconscious because I'm consciously doing other stuff, like speaking
Mhm.
with you or writing a letter or doing the dishes or whatever.
Right. Okay.
So you barely hear, even if if you press your hands to the earphones, you will hear it louder. And if you can hear it barely, then you can leave it because we are able to hear it anyway.
Right.
So this is the third step,
Okay.
the easiest one because it's passive.
Right. Right. It's passive. Okay. Awesome. I want to come back to that after.
So, okay. And the fourth step is, and it's this, the funny part, but it makes completely sense. This is for your pronunciation. What you do is put the volume really loud so that you cannot hear yourself and you're speaking with the native speaker.
Oh, wow.
And this is where your pronunciation gets perfectly fine because the worst thing you can do is learning a language in a group with people who learn it, just learned it or are learning it, because then you always hear the crappy sound of the students instead of just
God.
listening to a native speaker.
That is absolutely brilliant.
So,
That fourth step I just
yeah,
find like mind blowing. And I already know that's brilliant
yeah,
because for example, and I think I might have told you this before, I don't remember, but on the trip, right, there were 18 students
yeah,
and two native speakers who were organizing the trip. They were not from Spain. They hired guides for all of our
yeah.
attractions, but among the 18 students, there were varying levels of ability with grammar, obviously, vocabulary, of course, but pronunciation, absolutely. And my pronunciation is far from perfect, but it is better than my grammar. It is better than my vocabulary, and it's better than average Largely, I believe, because I took my 2 semesters when I was 20 or however old I was, way back when my brain was different. And that got embedded in. And so now I do like to listen to a lot of podcasts and lessons with native speakers and even non-native speakers who have excellent accents. But it is sort of personally annoying to me to be stuck in like a long conversation with someone who has a terrible accent, who speaks Spanish with an English
Yeah.
accent. It's just bad. And I know that there's a lot of programs where all the students are practicing together, and it's fine because you're not as self-conscious. There's some good things about it, but if you are tuning your ear in to their accent and their pronunciation of the vowels especially, oh my goodness, that's terrible. So I love that fourth step.
And everybody
Yeah.
everybody knows the following situation. And it's kind of fun, but it's all also tells you how to get better. Everybody had, I mean, I hope or I guess that grown-ups will look at this video, and everybody at least had once sit in their car, putting up the volume of the music,
Mhm.
and come on, we all sound like Michael Jackson, Mariah Carey, no problem, right? We have the exact same voice as long as the music is loud enough.
Mhm.
So because so what is the good part about? We try to copy the exact voice and the exact,
Yes.
and this is the point. When you do it
Yes.
with a native speaker, you try to sound
Emulate that
exactly like
exact
them.
sound.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
I
You
love that.
synchronize with this, yeah. And
Yes.
the good part is I didn't mention yet is about doing a one-to-one translation, word by word translation. You also learn grammar by itself. No need to know rules
Right.
because even I teach German, but for a long time I had no idea about every rule, why we are saying it like this and this and this.
Hmm.
And by the way, some Germans make mistakes with the grammar. I guess it's the same in the US. Okay.
No, everybody in the US makes
Okay.
mistakes.
Okay. So, but this is how you learn grammar without knowing the rules, because
Right.
knowing the rules is takes a lot of energy. But just repeating and just speaking, just repeating and speaking, and then for example, when you order whatever of kind of food, you know how to express that without knowing why you are saying it.
Right.
And
Right.
what is more important, to know how to say it or to know why you're saying it?
Exactly. Exactly. It doesn't matter why, but we get so caught up in, oh, I have to study the rules because the last thing we remember is studying the rules of English, but that's not how you learned to speak.
Yeah.
That's just how you learn to understand the rules. But I have a question about that
Yeah.
step number three, and then, we'll
Number
see where.
three.
Yeah,
Okay.
step three. When you have the earphones in your head,
Yeah.
my question is, and like hear me out on this. My question is, if this is something that I do sometimes, I memorize and I study the lyrics to a song, a
Yeah.
Spanish song, a song in Spanish. So I know all the words. Um, But if you, instead of putting the earbuds in and you're doing something, if you had the Spanish song on that you know, and you sort of played it and played it and played it, Is that having the same effect, do you think?
Yeah, so the key is that you have somehow have to take away your focus from the words, from the song.
Okay.
And I guess it's close to very close to putting the volume down.
Hmm.
But for example, if you sing along with the lyrics, you have to focus, right? You have to concentrate on the song. But doing other stuff,
Right.
it's nearly the same effect.
Right.
Nearly,
Like
I
for
guess.
example, if I'm driving, right, and I'm really paying attention to the road, but I have
Yeah,
a song on that I know, and I'm like, might be singing along or just enjoying it.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
okay,
It's kind of the same. It's fine as well.
okay, okay,
But
good.
yeah, well done. Good student. Yeah. But you understand that, if it's super low, it's really getting in your conscious
Yeah.
subconscious because you have no focus on that, right?
Right, right. It's different than what you said, like turning the volume way up and
Yeah,
singing along. That's the pronunciation.
yeah,
That's the real accent.
yeah,
But, kind of getting the language in your head on deep subconscious level is when the volume's low or and
yeah,
you're not focused.
yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Speaking about accent, my mother, funny story. My mother went to, so her English is okay. And she told me when she went to London, which is, a complete different accent than in the US.
Like I have problems when I go to London, let alone,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Right.
yeah. And this is the story is about that. And she was so confident, like speaking English normally. I mean, she's not, not a native, but she could say everything she wants to
Mhm.
express. And then she went into an, how do you say that, antique shop, like where
Sure.
very
An antique store.
antique store. And she was about to ask something about a chair, and the lady coming up with how do you say it, these small glasses, like where you,
Oh, yes. Yeah.
so
Yeah. I don't know the name of
so
that.
with very old glass, and she like spoke before my mother and said like, this is an old one. And my mother was so impressed about the accent. She told my stepfather to ask, like, okay, you ask the question because I don't want to, how do you say that?
Mess
Annoy
it up.
myself? No, yeah, if you feel very bad about when you're doing something very
Embarrass
bad,
myself.
embarrass myself.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to embarrass myself. Let's go, Ludwig. This is there. Let's go, Ludwig. You ask.
Mhm.
So because she had such a clear accent, and yeah, and they are really crazy, right? In the UK when it comes to Irish, especially, it's come on. I
It's
mean that.
it's a very strong accent for sure. It's a very strong accent. Yes.
I mean, even if there are people from, I had students, for example, from Texas, and this was a hard time for me as well because like it they speak I don't know where somewhere here like hey guy yeah honey oh my son yeah Scott Scott and I was like okay this is different than I experienced before. I had a very hard time
Hmm.
and they made fun of me. It
Oh,
was
sure.
because you know what, you know why they made fun of me because he asked me why are you listening tea.
Because
Because okay.
okay, but never mind. Keep going. Keep going.
Okay, so we will explain that later because
Yes.
so in Germany, it's not usual to have a gun, and it's not usual to that you ever shoot. That you ever have shoot. How you say it? You ever have shot, or how you say it?
That you ever
Use
shoot
the
a
gun.
gun? Yeah, use the gun. Right. Never
So
mind. Yeah.
it's not it's normal. It's a normal thing that you never use the gun. And this
Right.
guy from Texas, like a young student, he asked me like, "Hey, Christoph, how many guns do you have?" And I was like, none. And for me, it was completely normal. And then he asked like, "Okay, like, okay, weirdo."
Right.
And then he asked like, "Yeah, but you're going to the shooting range, right? Once in a while." And I like, I have never shot a gun. I never used a gun. And then he was so laughing and like, "Guys, come here." He was living with his family. "Come here, come here. This is a guy. Never shot a gun, never used a gun." And you know, his father, grandfather, grandmother, mother came, sister, and some siblings came and looked at me like, "Oh, this guy never used the gun." And they were all laughing and making fun of me, really.
Oh my
But
God.
then the story turned. And I don't know how big this thing is, but in Texas, it seems like it's big. We went on with our conversation and the lesson, and then he asked me like, "Hey, Krista, when are you born?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm born on 4th July." And then he was like, "Guys, come on, guys, this guy, Labor Day." And then how do you say that?
You redeemed yourself.
Yes, exactly. And it was all fine. Next lesson was fine because okay,
Thank goodness.
it's yeah, exactly like okay, not a completely weirdo. So because he's born on 4th July. So that was my experience with someone from Texas. I loved it.
Hilarious. That's
Yeah.
hilarious. So, yeah, I not to we'll get into some other things, but I feel like I can't necessarily like if you said do a Texas accent right now, I couldn't do it. But if I heard someone for 15 seconds talking with a Texas accent, I could do it really well.
Very
I
good.
just need to be in I just need to have it in my field, and then it's like, yeah, I got it. I got it.
Yeah. I
But
just need a cowboy hat and that's it. Then
exactly.
it's there.
No, it's definitely audio for me. All the accents, audio. I can't just do them. I don't know why, but it's
Well,
interesting. It's all good. It's all good.
gee, I want to go back to, by the way, we were completely gone from our
I know.
introduction, speaking about disconnected.
No, I know. We're totally disconnected from the disconnection.
Exactly. I mean, it's fine. When we like spoke about what to speak about in this podcast, we said like, hey, it's just live to tell. Like whatever story from our lives comes up, it's fine, even if it's a sad one or a funny one or a deep one or something perhaps you can take something out of, like you learn something. Um, yeah, but I want to speak about that because um, my feeling was immediately when you said like disconnected from yourself, I felt like, yeah, it's about the speed, like the speed of how do you say that? The time or not the
I mean, I feel like it's the speed, the rhythm of the of I don't know, what is it? It's the doing. It's the speed of the doing. It's it's totally artificial.
yeah,
It's like we're putting these demands of velocity on ourselves, and disconnecting from our own, whatever might be the natural rhythm, whether it's our own personal natural or it's spring now. And so here the sun comes up before 6 o'clock in the morning, like
oh,
5:30 in the morning, and then it sets at like close to 8:30. So we have these really
really?
nice
Okay, wow.
long days. So it's a different rhythm than in December when the sun comes up at closer to 8 o'clock in the morning and it goes down at 4:30. It's like a much, much shorter day. So the rhythm of the day is very different. I don't need to sleep as much, whatever. And everybody has a different experience, but there's a natural rhythm. And I feel like we override that as a matter of course. It's completely normal to override that in so many ways.
Yeah. My feeling is as well, everything is so fast that it's like you couldn't feel yourself or even notice, hey, what's going on because it's the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And I remember, for example, usually as a child, like a really small child, it takes like perhaps half an hour to watch a bee or a bee or a butterfly, bees,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
right,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Bees, yeah.
Yeah, I do. I do. I just wasn't sure that's what you were saying. Yeah.
Yeah, or a worm that is like on the ground, and it took half an hour. I remember my nephew, really, this is no joke. At the, how do you say that? Is it construction when they build new streets?
Mhm.
We spent 5 hours watching the machines
Wow.
in a construction, how do you say that?
Site, construction site.
As a in at a construction site. 5 hours, T. I was about to have a nervous breakdown,
Right.
and my nephew was, oh, Christoph, look at the how I call these yellow things with the
The
arms.
diggers, diggers.
Look at the diggers. Look at these. Look at the. And I was like, yeah, 5 hours.
Wow.
And and then he was like, okay, let's do
Let's
whatever.
go.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't on the weekend, like Saturday. Yeah, yeah. But I had a hard time just to stand there. I mean, I was enjoying to look at my nephew because he was so excited all about this. But this is not normal. Usually, you say like, "Yeah, we have to
Yeah, we
go,
have to go to the store. We have to get going.
and we have to go to eat now. We have
Mhm.
to whatever." So, and this is, I guess, teaches you the place we are is never the right place
Right.
because we need to and we need to go and we need to and we need to it's always the same.
Keep moving. Got
Yeah,
to keep
keep
moving.
moving. And truth is what I figured out. I mean, I'm getting into that trap as well, but the truth is if you say like, okay, we don't need to do anything now, and it's not about like sitting for 5 hours and doing nothing. It's about like, hey, okay, come on, you are stressed now. Like, what what do you really need to do? And for example, I this is my one of my experiences when it comes to I think it's typical when it comes to appointments.
Hmm.
And if you are late, like how do you say that? You take overtime in one appointment, or you take too long, or
You go long.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I went long with an appointment and I was late for the next appointment. And then I hurried and then I was late on the next appointment. And finally, on one, and it happened a lot to me during the years. And finally, I did something that was so freeing. I called the next appointment and said, like, I'm sorry, I can't make it today. Is it fine for you to find a new appointment?
Right. Can we let's reschedule.
Yeah, reschedule. And what happened then was I had 1 hour to get to the next appointment, which was like 10 minutes away. And then I was like, yeah, chilly vanilla, like completely relaxed. Yeah.
That's great.
So, and this is like the magic of stopping that.
Yeah, it's like a hamster wheel. It's a hamster
Yeah,
wheel.
and just try it. Be courageous to do
Yeah.
that,
Be
to just
brave.
take a break.
Hmm.
Stop it.
Yeah. I love that example. I love that example. I have an example. It's Um, I don't know. It might seem small, but I remember when I'm trying to remember the year. It was definitely after 2010 when Fitbits came out, whatever the thing was that counted your steps.
Yeah.
And I remember when it came out, and I remember thinking, I remember knowing I will never in my entire life have anything that counts my steps. I don't need it. I don't want it. I don't want to be a slave to it. I know when I need more exercise, and I know when I've had enough. And that's it. And I watched as like a lot of people around me got Fitbits, people that were older than me, people that were my age. And it was like, wow, that's very interesting, but that's fine because everything not the same thing is right for everyone. So it might be right for them. And no, I just know it's not right for me. And um, and then people younger than me, which now there are more and more people younger than me, it's more natural that they have it because they don't remember a time without it as much. It's more normal. But it's just another way of having something measured. It's the same way like measuring your screen time.
Mhm.
I did used to do that for a little while, like measure my screen time, and I was like, why am I actually doing this? Because I don't really have a problem scrolling on social media. I don't. In fact, I maybe should like keep a little in better touch with my friends on social. I just don't do that very often. So why am I measuring my screen time when I'm using my phone for important things like texting my family and keeping in touch with people that way and calling and my calendar, which I have my calendar on my phone now. That's not bad. So just just as a default, using technology to measure our behavior instead of being in tune with ourselves is another way I feel like of possibly disconnecting. For me, it would be disconnecting to measure my steps, but maybe it's necessary for some people to do that. And maybe it's just fun. Maybe they're not a slave to it. Maybe it's just fun. I just know if I did it, I would be looking at it every day and I would be judging myself. So I don't do it.
Yeah, but I think it's, you said like my example is a small one. I think it's a big one because you, as you said, like it depends on how you use it. If you use it for fun, I mean, to be honest, it's two times very interesting and funny, and then it's boring. But if you think that how do you call it, Fitbit?
Fitbit. I don't know if that's the technology now. I know that's the
Okay,
technology when it started, but yeah, Fitbit.
let's say Fitbit. A Fitbit is telling you better how you should feel now because you just walked whatever steps. This is crazy, right? And this is definitely disconnecting. As you said, if you use it for fun, it's super fun. Hey, scrolling on social media could be super fun, but if you think you need to do it to for whatever reason, then it's
Mhm.
stupid. And
Right.
then you are not trusting your body. And to be honest, I know exactly when I have to do more, or if I have to do more sports, or my
Right.
belly tells me, my lung tells me, my hip tells me. So I know that exactly. I even don't need how do you say it when you how to measure your weight? Is it a
Yeah, a
weight
scale, a scale. Yeah.
scale?
Mhm.
I even don't need a scale. My clothes tell me when I'm yeah,
Right. When
Or
it's a
to
little too tight. Yes.
exactly. Or
Yeah.
yeah. So this is one thing. And another thing um I realized there are two more things I want to say about being disconnected. A very common thing is that one thing changed. It's a normal or a healthy behavior if you are together, you are with the other person. For example, when we have this Zoom call,
Hmm.
I shouldn't focus so much on myself instead of focusing on you, being here with you right now, listening to what you are saying and being interested in what you are saying, to hear new stuff, to hear how you are doing, to take care of you. So this is a healthy behavior when I'm with someone or
Right.
with a group, then I'm totally, focusing,
Interacting. Right.
yes, with the group. And when you are alone, then you should be with just you, you know, with yourself. And it changed because when we are alone and we have our cell phone, we are somewhere else on someone else's account, right? And it's not being alone. Yeah, I'm the only one in the room, but on an energetic level, I'm completely somewhere else. And to be honest, we change where we are in a second, like half an hour on social media, you are in, I don't know, in about 200, three hundred
Yeah.
thousand places,
Right.
not 300,000, but 300 to 1,000 places, different places could be. And this is not healthy. And on the other hand, when you speak to someone and you're being with someone, people only try or often try to just speak about themselves, right? And they don't listen, like really listen to the other person. They're just waiting when the person is finished to, okay, now it's my turn. And this is like, wait, this went wrong, upside down completely. And the other thing I noticed, and this is because I remembered, or it popped into my head when you spoke about the natural rhythm. Like in summer, the day is different than in winter.
Mhm.
And it's like when we compare women and men,
Mhm.
we say, yeah, it's just people or
Mhm.
human, but it's not. Women have a completely different
Cycle.
rhythm
Mhm.
during the month,
Mhm.
and men have just a daily rhythm.
Right.
And you can't compare women with men. And this is what we're doing as well. We expect women to be the same as men.
Right. Every day. Got to be the same.
Exactly. And the same energy and the same, and it's not gonna happen. And this is another thing where people disconnected for themselves. Like when women try to catch up with men, and on the other hand, men trying to catch up in some behavior with women, you know? And this is where you disconnect as well. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
trying to
I
do
mean,
that.
I agree 100% that, and I remember there's I mean there's good and bad parts of everything, but I remember very clearly my mom telling me when I was growing up, like, you can do anything that a man can do. And I was like, okay, great. And and yeah, it's great. to open opportunities up for people. You don't have to do something just because you're a man. You don't have this opportunity closed, just because, all of these opportunities closed just because you're a woman. But, um, but there was some unhealthy stuff that came with that. Like, and we all, we see it. I feel like the pendulum is continuing to swing, but it's another way that we disconnected, like we women disconnected from ourselves to try to, I mean, it feels like in the US it felt like because we want all the opportunities, we want to, make the same money, and we sort of put on a pedestal all these things that we weren't able to do for so many years, and in the process disconnected from some important things. So yeah, I think that's a really good point.
Yeah. And on the other hand, it's the same that, our us as men, we were told like you don't need women. You don't need the women because yeah, they are just I don't know that what rumors are there, but really bad ones. Like they are sneaky and they want to trick
Manipulative.
you
Mm.
and whatever. And on the other hand, every man just wants to have sex and that's it. And no, and I guess the unhealthiest or um dangerous thing is that we think we don't need each other because women and men need each other because n no man, okay, this is, I know it's very black and white, very triggering, but no man can ever be that warm as a woman can be. He can be very kind, he can be very warm, but not these nourishing energy that never ever, sorry. And yes, I know it's a trigger, even not the gay ones. Sorry, I'm saying this clear, but even not them. It's not possible to be like a woman, except you are a woman. So, and on the other hand, there are energies and things you can't do as a woman. It is so you can try, but it is embarrassing trying to do that. But they tell us to try to be this and this and this and this. I mean, to be honest, I experienced it for myself because my parents got divorced when I was 4, and I was only living with my mother. So she had to take all the parts to
Right,
raise me,
right,
but she's not able to be a man. She is
right.
not able. She couldn't give me the stability, the just by energy. She tried to, and she tried very, very hard, and she loved me and tried, but there's no chance to be like this. And on the other hand, if children just raise up with their father, it's not possible to be these. I don't know how to express this in English. It's nourishing. Please help me, T.
Yeah, I mean, there's a phrase, touchy feely, like and it's not. I want to be very clear here too. We're not talking about um personalities here. It's something unseen, right? It's more energetic, like the energetic, nourishing energy. And not every woman, right, has that kind of nourishing, open personality,
Yeah,
but there's an there's an energetic difference. Just the same way as like there's not a man who goes through a menstrual cycle. Like it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. Um, yeah, there's some energetic differences. And I think that's really I think that's what you're talking about, what you're
Yeah.
pointing.
And I have a very how do you say it, a very clear example.
Okay.
If I'm like, I remember when I was very little and lying in the lap of my father, you say that, like when you
Yeah, on my father's lap. Hmm.
on my father's lap, I feel safe. If I'm lying in my mother's or on my mother's lap, I feel loved.
Hmm.
And it's not that my father hasn't loved me,
Mhm.
but I feel safe with my father, or I felt safe with my father, and with my mother, I felt loved, or I feel loved.
Mhm.
And it's and another like clear example, and it might be mm, superficial, but I believe in that, is every time uh, I visited my mother when I was grown up, she was like, "Ah, I cooked your favorite meal because I know, you love this meal, and she made my favorite dessert and
Mhm. Mhm.
whatever." And when I visited my father, he was like, "Yeah, I ordered some pizza because hey, let's go to watch soccer, you know?"
Right, right, right,
And
right, right.
both is completely perfect. But it's
Right, right. And it's not that, every mom does that and every dad does that, but like the way that the energy it made you feel,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Mm,
yeah. So
yeah,
this is what I'm talking about. This is the only examples I can give right now. But
yeah,
yeah, I think it's a thing, and I know it's triggering a lot of people. But hey,
yeah, super
you
triggering.
decide to watch the episode.
Right. Exactly. So, we are definitely interested in your comments. Let's, we can, of course, disagree, respectfully and kindly, um, and or not, and that's okay too. We don't want to tell anybody what to write or not to write, but definitely interested in your comments.
Yeah, especially about this topic, like energy of women and energy of men. I love to hear what you think. And just one thing that we are clear, don't hate the players, hate the game. So so
I love
don't be mad at us. So just say, I
that.
love that phrase, by the way. Don't hate the players, hate the game. So
I've never heard that. I really like that
yeah.
actually. Yeah,
To
like
to be
don't it's sort
honest,
of
it's
don't shoot
from
the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger is the one. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, same
Ah,
thing.
okay. Yeah, don't shoot. Yeah, exactly. Don't shoot the messenger. Like, just yeah.
Exactly.
So
I
about
guess
us.
they can't shoot in Germany anyway, so it's all good.
Yeah. So, and by the way, that's the last thing I want to say for today in like being deep in some stuff is, I mean, I know T's work and I know mine, like our work. When I say ours, I'm like T's work and mine and the work of my wife. And this is, in my opinion, the work we are doing a lot. It's not telling people what to do. It's like helping them connect again to themselves. This
Right.
is the work we are doing. I guess the time is over when you should be told by someone else, like, hey, you should do this and this and this. It's no, it's like helping people to connect
Right.
to themselves, that they should be on their own feet. You say that?
Yeah, like be aligned with yourself and then make your own decisions.
Yeah,
And even, what is the not everybody mm, should make decisions in the same way. So, and these are things that we of course can talk about in the future
yeah,
too. But yes, it's more about connecting to yourself and aligning with yourself um, in really helpful ways.
Yeah. And then you don't need advice from outside, right? Or less. Of
Yeah.
course, if you want to fix your car, I definitely need advice from outside. It's
Right,
better.
right, right. Absolutely, absolutely. But the point is that you don't need to ask, like, hand over the power to someone else, like,
Yeah,
what should I do?
yeah,
And just follow.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
All
absolutely.
righty.
Thank you so much for in to our first, maybe it's our first and second episode. I don't know, but
Yeah, it was very long. We did for at first, but we had a how do you say that? A
a little.
feeling
Mhm.
that it could be longer than we thought. We were like, hey, let's make 30 to 40 minutes. And I have no idea how long it's going now, but it's definitely not 30 minutes.
No, no, but it might be longer. But just thank you so much for tuning in, and we look forward to chatting with you in the comments and just sharing more with you in the future.
Exactly. Bye bye. See you soon. Bye.